guys. So, this video was actually supposed to be part of a collective reading that I did for my members, and it was Pile 2. Once I got into the reading, I realized how not only emotional, but how personal this reading was. And after I got done with it, I kind of decided to go ahead and redo Pile 2. Um, but I still had this reading. I went back and listened to it, and after listening to it, and then after also getting some advice from a really good friend who's also a reader, I've decided to go ahead and post it. It is a very emotional reading, but I feel like it could be helpful for someone, so I hope it gets whoever needs to hear it.
So y'all have this is a little, yep, there's two butterfly piles, but y'all have the one that's a little bit bigger. There's a little bit more detail in this butterfly. Um, so for some of y'all, I almost lost my voice there. By the way, it's a different day. I did not make it through. After I got done with pile 1, I needed to take a break. So I've been trying to catch up on personal readings, and I've really been pushing myself. So I needed to give myself some time. So that might be important here, though, what I'm talking about. Maybe you're needing to look at the details of something, give something some time to allow it to change, because that butterfly is about changes. And give something some time to change. Time is important with y'all. Okay. So we're talking about what's coming toward y'all. Gosh, I'm going to have to get a drink. My kids were just sick, and I got better after they got me sick, and felt better. Went out for a football game for my son, and now I feel bad again. So I feel like just that one outing, I was around something or someone that had something. I hope not. Maybe that's just the dust. Here in Texas where I'm at, we get a lot of stuff in the air, and everybody's got allergies real bad. Sometimes you'll go outside one day and it's so strong that when you go back to the house, it's like when I go on my walks, my eyes will just start watering and they just won't stop all day long. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling y'all that. That could have something to do with all of this. Like, maybe they're wanting me to point out the fact that something is always, everything's always temporary if you think about it. Nothing ever lasts for too long in the moment, or a feeling, look at your life, think about it going back, and none of those moments that you felt that were difficult or hard really ever last a long time. It's like the emotion that you feel behind it. Two things happen. Either it's something short that doesn't, like the emotions you get over, or it's something that lasts for a longer time, but you just kind of adapt to whatever that is, depending on why you feel a certain way. Okay. So I guess we're going to start with the what's the tea. That's what I felt called to when I was kind of talking. And then I also pulled it's just the regular Rider-Waite tarot, but it's one that I use on my desk all the time. Well, let's see what this says. Scarcity tactics. This card's been coming out a lot. Then you have clout hungry. Says anything, does anything, makes shit up, and it's dramatic. Okay. The mouse here is like telling a tale. Mice always run back and forth to each other in a way. I don't know. It's kind of always just reminded me of like gossip. And then you have wasting time, which is another card that's been coming out a lot. Stuck, no changes, and limited. This says 306, I think. It's time. I talked about time being relevant here. Then you have moving on. Thank you, next. Give me one more. Can I have one more? Love on the brain. Dreaming, fantasizing, daydreaming, and nostalgic. And then you also have carless at the bottom. No car, repo, car issues. So carless to me is a feeling of lack. And if we could just kind of sum that up into an energy. But you have these 3 cards that are here. Cars that are here. So like I don't know why the 3 of Wands is coming to mind though, because it's a vehicle and Wands are about action. And so there's this 3 that's here too on the bikes, and then there's also 3 chess pieces that you can see. So an outside source is important here in your reading. Also feel like that you could be in a position to where you're the one that's about to make a move because of the way the chess piece sits and are needing to. Says anything, does anything, makes shit up and dramatic. Clout hungry. There's something to do with someone, either time being wasted, okay? And there's a lot of nonsense, is what I want to say. I don't know why. But there's a lot of nonsense that's here where it's wasting time. It could be wasting time on you moving forward, moving on. Like a lot of things going on in your head about the dramatic part or the gossip or whatever this is, not knowing something, reliving something over in your head, thinking about something, analyzing something. Remember we talked about the details here in the butterfly? And there's this energy here of wasting time, being stuck. It's creating a blockage here for you with moving on, with love on the brain. It's creating a blockage here, or it's going to create a blockage here from you being able to, I'm going to say that, from you being able to really like dream. This would be like constantly having nightmares and never having like a happy dream. You know? You could be moving into that kind of mentality. And this is what you're needing to take a deeper look at, because I do feel like that you are changing. Like you are changing, you're transforming your thought process and where you're headed here. But you need to look at the details of some things. Or you're hyper-focused on the details. That's what this is, isn't it? I think you're hyper-focused, hyper-fixated, you know, like on the details of things, and you're wasting time here. You could be mirroring this with someone, but they could do it in a very different type of way. If you're dealing with someone here that procrastinates or is an overthinker in some way, you could be mirroring that somewhat, trying to overanalyze. 6 of Cups in reverse. Has to do with the foundation that was built. This is something long-term, family, a solid foundation, right? That 6 of Cups is what you're creating as a past memory. So how it will affect your core, really, of how you see foundation and family, marriage, partnerships. Partnerships. And that's your blockage from being able to really like create what you would want. You may be also losing like an idea of some kind of idea of what love is, what love means to you. That could happen as well. So because you're in a lack mentality, right? Too busy winning. I do think that you are trying to focus on other things. I do feel like that there's a part of this that comes from pride and ego, though, where you're stuck. Yeah. has to do with why there's always a lack of commitment, or why someone isn't willing to work with you, you know? Work something out, work together. Why does no one want to work together, work in the same way you do, understand things like you do? You know, it's like not being able to fit in with the group, but it has to do with like who you're connecting with. Why is scarcity tactics here? Yeah, there it is. This reading's going to be so like straightforward now to me in these cards moving forward, because I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. I think that the oracles gave us a lot. That's Gemini energy there. It's that mirroring energy I was talking about. It's like seeing someone how someone is on the outside. You're that way on the inside when it comes to your healing at times. So you're mirroring that when it comes to your healing. So if someone procrastinates and they're an overthinker, you take that on internally and you start to almost become that about that person. Why is clout hungry here? Yeah. Queen of Pentacles. You're needing to remember to also like who you are, and fixate or focus on that. It has to do with being grounded, who you are, where you are, what you're capable of holding on to. You know, when you're I don't know why this is coming to mind, but I was thinking in my head, when you're falling off a cliff and there's a bunch of strings that are sticking out, or ropes that's sticking, hopefully it's not just a string, ropes that are sticking out, you want to be able to grab the one that you automatically see as the strongest. And I was thinking about the full energy, jumping off a cliff. What if you jump off a cliff and you realize it's not the direction that you need to go into, and you start to try to get yourself back up? How are you going to do that? You're going to do that with focusing on the strongest lifeline, right? And for you, that is being grounded, being practical, being grounded, having what you need, being in a stable environment, finding your own self security. What does that look like for you? Is that routine? Is that focusing, you know, directly on yourself, giving back to yourself in some way, doing things for yourself, having yourself in mind, making sure that you have peace around you so that you feel at a peaceful place as far as what you can control and in your life. This is where your focus needs to be, because this is what's going to get you out of your head and more in a logical state of mind, which is where you need to be in order to overcome this. I can see this on the flip side as well. You're dealing with somebody, I feel like, that has like a lot of ego. And let me describe them. Describe this person. The Seven of Pentacles. This is someone, I mean, we talked about this person procrastinating, remember? Because if that's who you're mirroring. And you have the Seven of Pentacles. And that's pretty much kind of like procrastinating. But they don't see it as hold on, I gotta get a drink. Procrastinating. I felt like I couldn't say that right. Anyway, the Seven of Pentacles, they don't see it like that themselves. This is why it's so hard for you to drop the details. You're trying to figure out how somebody is based off of who you are. And it's not adding up, because this person's thought process is nothing like the way you think. What else can you tell me about this person? From the Lovers here, what else? This person is someone that's very indecisive. They choose the wrong route. This is the Two of Wands in reverse. This is also someone that would wait and wait and wait and wait till it's too late, and then there's no there's only one direction to take, procrastinate. Person has a problem, self-destruct. And you have the Four of Wands that's there. This person may also feel like it's not the right time for something, or they're indecisive here about what it is that they actually want, or they change their mind about what that is. This person, yeah, time is really relevant here. We have the Wheel of Fortune. This is somebody that is wasting time. There's no changes here with this person. Can you describe this person's character? Page of Wands. Can you describe this person's character? The Six of Pentacles in the reverse. One more. Describe this person's character. Judgment in reverse. This person makes the wrong judgment calls. This is someone that is, the Page of Wands is someone that's very youthful, and they do things before they think about it, or they get so twisted, and I think this is your person's way of thinking. They get so twisted in their mind that they can't see something logically. And it's almost like they psych themselves out of things. This could be somebody that has a high, like can manifest really well. Like they're a, what do they call that? Master manifester, But that's like the hardest to learn, because this person keeps getting in their head about things and it really messes them up. They procrastinate here. And also, this is someone that they don't have the ability to give to you. And there's things that they don't yet see about themselves either. This person's not, you may also feel that way though too sometimes. Like there's things still that you're kind of figuring out about yourself, or maybe just where you are now. It's like you're both going through some kind of heavy change or transition in some way. Real different though. What is that about? Yeah, the Nine of Cups. It has to do with what makes you happy, what you want, where you're at, being, satisfied. I don't know why I'm doing y'all's reading like this, but I'm just going to keep going, guys. You have a Two of Pentacles. Yeah, choices and options. What is it? You're both in a place to where you're trying to balance out what makes you happy. What is it that they don't want to see about themselves with this Judgment in reverse? What is it they're not ready to face or don't want to face? The Seven of Pentacles. This person, they're kind of, okay, I don't want to get too far into this person's psyche, right? I don't want to get lost in there because, let me just say this one more thing. This person, they have this fierce urge to defend themselves. And what they're defending is staying in a particular place. When it comes to how they see themselves. It's hard for this person to see themselves in any other kind of way than what they've created. Whether that's on the outside or just the inside. I don't know why it's hard for this person to actually like really take a good look at themselves or really see themselves. And they get very defensive. And it has to do with this Six of Pentacles here in reverse. So that's like what they're able to offer or what they're able to give. Yeah, King of Cups. It's double Scorpio energy there. You also have Gemini and Taurus. Where are you at here? You're at the Queen of Wands in reverse. You're rebuilding your confidence right now. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles. Kind of slowly moving forward. You're trying to, you know, this is what I was talking about here. One of the details of things of how you get stuck in your head is you get to a place to where you start to talk negatively to yourself in some way. I think that you're kind of hard on yourself here. I think this is really also took a hit to your self-esteem as well. Yeah, the King of Swords. This person's words or the lack of understanding, I think, is where you don't feel understood, or this person made you not feel understood and worthy. And that might be like where you struggle. That might be something you struggle with. Why is the Queen of Pentacles here? Or, yeah, look at that. Remember I talked about that mouse and the gossip? That's what the Three of Cups is in reverse. And that can feel a lot like not being understood, not being, if you've, I'm gonna have to get one more drink, hold on. This might be emotional. If you've struggled with being understood, like in your life you felt, maybe you felt different, or like you had to deal with things on your own in some way, or you just didn't come across the same as others, you know? Like you felt alone in some sense. This could be because things that occur with you where your mind has to be in a place before it's ready, before it's been able to you know, experience certain things. It's like you don't have that childlike innocence that I think this person has in some way. I don't know, I think that really tugs on you though, and your insecurities, not feeling worthy, not feeling, but it comes out from maybe feeling different at some time, like you just felt different for whatever reason. You felt different. It comes from that. And here it's turned into feeling unworthy or misunderstood. I don't really want to talk about this, but there could be some kind of third-party energy here with that Three of Cups being in reverse and that Knight of Pentacles. You may have also made some kind of decision to disconnect. Yeah, the Seven of Cups. See? Look at that. What did I say earlier? This is creating a, right here, with the clout hungry, the gossip stuff, and love on the brain, the daydreamy energy. That's the Seven of Cups. It's following, what's behind it, though, is that Three of Cups in reverse. So again, you could be thinking about this differently, and if you could, it would lead to a better outcome for you in the future. Like who you're picking, which direction you're going, what you want to do for yourself, and what that looks like. This has caused some changes in you, There's just saying, don't be in a lack mentality as these changes take place, as you choose what it is that you want. Don't allow this to affect what you know you want or need or deserve. Because the way that you're feeling, the unworthiness or the feeling like you're misunderstood in some way, it's just a mindset, you know, um, of how you're seeing a situation or how you're seeing yourself. Can I have some advice on that? Yeah, the Ace of Pentacles. That's almost going to make me want to cry, because I could say that's Spirit saying that okay, I just lost it. I just lost it, guys. I can relate to this reading. This feels like my reading. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know that I'm even going to post this. I'll ask Joy. She'll tell me if I should or not. This feels very personal to me, so that's another reason I'm so emotional. But guys, when that came out right there, that Ace of Pentacles, that's kind of like God telling you you are valuable. Spirit saying, we see you. Look, it's a seed, it's being protected. And now I got to tell y'all this. So my sister she goes on trips a lot. My sister's she's a roamer. But she goes on trips all the time, and she's got lots of animals. And so every now and then when she needs me, I'll go over. By the way, she's wait a second. Okay, yeah, she's Aquarius. I was fixing to say, wait, is she Pisces? I think she may be kind of more on the cusp, to be honest with you. But anyway, she's kind of just, look, you have the rainbow in there. Anyway, she's kind of, she likes a lot of animals and stuff, and she's fun like that. So she goes on a lot of vacations, right? She takes her kids all over the place, which is great. But when she's gone, I go over there and take care of her animals. And I was at home with the kids, and I thought, crap, I better go over there and do that, because I don't like being at her house at night. Especially if nobody's been there, right? Well, just because nobody's been there. But so I go over there, and I'm driving, and I decide I haven't been listening to music because I've been sad. And when I listen to music, I can't help it but feel what I'm listening to, and it makes my head go to a place and think like this, and I get kind of lost in that. And so I haven't listened to music in a while, but I love music. And so on my way over there, I thought, it's a little bit of a drive. I'm going to listen to some music. I won't have nobody wanted to go with me. I tried. My kids were like, nope. So I was like, well, I'll use this as a time for me to drive and listen to some music. It's been a while. That did not help me at all. It wasn't 2 seconds and I was crying. I couldn't even tell you what the song was. It's just the music itself, I think. I don't know, music has a way of kind of like easing like your mind. It's a melody. It puts you into this nostalgic, daydreamy, fantasy kind of energy, right? Anyway, but I start to get sad, and I get over there and I take care of everybody, and I leave and I put it back on when I get in the car, and I sat in the driveway for a second, and I was like, do you want to do this to yourself? Like, you don't listen to music because it makes you sad? You got to stop doing that. And so I was arguing with myself on the way home the whole time, talking in my head about how unfair things are, and that I've been through so much stuff in my life, and why do I have to experience so much, so much loss and so much betrayal, and why? What is it about me? Why am I unworthy? I must not be being like understood right? Something's about that. Anyway, it's just kind of feeling sorry for myself, I guess. And I understand you should allow yourself to do that from time to time. Have it out with yourself like that. For, I guess, just the life that you're in. But see, in the same sense, I have so many blessings at the same time. Anyway, so I'm just analyzing, fighting myself. And I swear to y'all, if God or the universe doesn't put people in front of your face when you need it, it's crazy. I don't think people understand how we're all used to help others, to make others think when we don't even know it. But I'm arguing with myself in my head. I'm driving home and I look over. One more. Literally, that's like I have one sip left to drink. There's a guy I went to school with that was walking with his like 4 or 5 year old daughter. She was on her bike, and he was a little bit behind her. And I look over at him, and all I see is his face, and he has his head kind of down, and he just looks sad. And him and his wife had a baby girl that was, I think she was a year old, maybe, somewhere in there. They took her to daycare a year ago, and something happened to her while she was there, and she was someone they know watches her, and they lost her. And I look over, and that's the man that I see as I'm in my head, being upset with myself for the life that I've had. And I'm not saying that mine's any, I'm not trying to downplay any of mine either. I'm just saying, like, there's people that show up in our lives that remind us that we're not alone. And that remind us that we are all in this world together. And there are crappy things that happen. But we're all kind of going through it in our different journeys and our different, what we're meant to be learning at this time, all differently. I don't know, it just kind of, it put me back. It put me at ease. Because I couldn't imagine where he's been, what that's like, that experience, and how awful that is. It was, I really cried after that on my way home. I really cried after that. I was like, God, you got me. Dang it. You have a King of Wands here at the bottom of the deck. The Hanged Man in reverse. And the High Priestess. I think that this person wants to guys, this person it's just stuck. I mean, they're not, this would be like somebody that's a Page of Wands. They're a King of Wands, and nobody else is going to tell them anything different. It's the Hanged Man in reverse, Pisces energy. That Pisces energy here, and look at that, Justice in the Knight of Cups. This person, this is someone too also that wouldn't come to you because they know they're not going to, if there's any doubt in this person's head that you'll reject them in any kind of way for anything, either this person runs or they'll never come to you in a way. Because this is somebody that doesn't want to be kind of knocked down. This person has a huge ego. And they're only seeing themselves, like they're seeing themselves as being fair. This is somebody that sees themselves as being fair, and I mean, the Hanged Man in reverse, this person's just stuck on this. Their mindset, they can't see it any other way. It's too hard for them to see it in any other way because it would affect them it would affect their ego, and they're fighting that. Is there anything you can tell us about this person that we should know? This is definitely, I just saw the Knights. Hold on. Thinking. I just saw the Knight's Tail. Why is that Page of Wands? Tell me, describe this. Thank you. Jealous one. Guess what? Scared of losing you, doesn't want to share, and protective of you. I do feel this is someone that is protective over you in a way, or they're just possessive. That's Medusa, and I just had a card the other day for a pile with Medusa. This person also may be looking at you as if you're jealous or insecure. Like, this is coming from a page, so I wouldn't take it to heart, right? In other words, they're not seeing or understanding the significance of you at all. So, and careless is here. Whatever attitude, neglect, inattentiveness, not playing your cards right. I do feel like that this person was careless with you, and I do feel like that they may wonder who you're with, or losing you forever. Like, there's this thought of, if you've been back and forth with this person a lot, sleepless nights is here. Lack of sleep, breaking point, all-consuming worries. Yeah. This person didn't bring out the very best side in you, by the way. Collector of Hearts is at the bottom, which is the heartbreaker. Many love interest and not ready to settle down. Calm storm and time flies. I think that I'm going to tell you what. First off, I think this person's trying to not be frazzled by this, not react in any kind of way. But they're also paying a close attention to the time here. I don't know what that means. That's, again, that procrastinating kind of feeling, right? But I think this person, they put you in your head a lot. See, she's looking at the moon. This could be in good ways and bad ways. This person kind of went back and forth with you. It's because they're indecisive. Also, they just didn't want to let you go. Like, there's something about you that they were, they didn't want anyone else to have for whatever reason. So there's that feeling there, too, of needing you still, So this would be why somebody put you in your head here, just the way she's looking at the moon. It's funny, too, because I told you I went to my sister's house to get take care of her animals, and then I fought whether she was a Aquarius or a Pisces, because I kept wanting to say Pisces, but she's not. And I do that to her all the time, so she's got to be close, right? Anyways, you have all this in this picture, so I was trying to figure out why that is. Sleepless nights, lack of sleep, breaking point, all-consuming worries. Yeah, I mean, she sent me over there to check on everybody because she was just worried about leaving them alone. Yeah. You were constantly in your head with this person. Either they made you feel that way by filling your head full of fantasy or dreams, or, the future stuff, all that kind of stuff. And then going to the other extreme of pulling back and a lack of attention, right? Carelessness, a lack of attentiveness, neglecting, like a very extreme back and forth. This person put you in your head a lot. They put you in that thought process. Anyway, calm storm here and time flies. So I feel like this is somebody that is trying not to react. This is somebody that would say they're trying to give something time, trying not to react, trying not to agonize anything. This to them is being emotionally mature. But that time is helping you. It's just not going to be for this person's favor, you know. Where are you headed? Let's look at that. Where are you headed? What do I want to use for that? I'm going off the radar now because I don't know if I'm going to post this or not. So let's do these. Where are you headed? If you can get off of this, you know, if you can refocus your energy here back to yourself and feel secure, you know. Where are you headed? I don't think some of y'all particularly want anyone or anything at this time with that 3 of Cups being in reverse. There's 10 Cups that are there, you know, so it's like, it's not really knowing exactly what it is that you want. You may have even had some interactions, but you don't fit in there, you know. You may even be somebody that does certain things just to be around other people, but it's not necessarily where you want to be or what you want to be doing. It's kind of like forcing yourself, you know. Where is pile to have fun? Where is pile to headed? Difference. Road, future, choice, and destiny. It's funny, I just talked about all that. Someone different, something different. You're headed somewhere different than maybe what you think you are. Reject. I just got done saying that. Negation, never, forbid, and taboo. You know, the jealous one here is Medusa, and Medusa turns, you know, men to stone. Those 2 cards came out in that combination, and Apollo did in the last couple of readings. I feel like you're rejecting, like, something, how do I say this? Something familiar, or you're rejecting, like, a particular path. You're doing something different. You're not wanting to do, like, what is traditional, or what's, how do I want to say that? Health. This is also like redirecting. Can you give me another card for this reject? I'm having such a hard time. Letter. Note, text, or invitation. Yeah. I think that you're deciding to go a different route, you know? Not do the same thing as everyone thinks that you're going to do. Not moving in a certain direction. Do something differently. I feel like for some of you, this has to do with just focusing on yourself, because the next card that came out was health, which is exercise, diet, sleep, and mental relaxation. So I think that you are actually going into a place, and you may get some kind of invitation here, or there's someone here that is, you know, sending you some sort of message, or so I don't know what this is or who this is, but someone's here that I feel like you're going to be rejecting, whatever that is. Because I think that you're trying to do something differently. It's like, I don't want to be in another relationship. I don't want to be, you know, like everyone else, or out in that kind of scene or something like that. I don't know. You're just doing something differently. You're refocusing your energy back to yourself. You're focusing on that Queen of Pentacles, you know, your health, what's around you, your routine. Generous is here. Give with an open heart and open without expectation, unconditional love. So you are healing your heart here. You're healing your heart too through with maybe being generous with others. You know, being very giving, or just kind of more loving or more open. Not that you aren't, but it's like an extra, going the extra mile for that. It's like, you ever do that experiment to where you say so many compliments to someone every day? Why not? I mean, you know, it makes them feel good, makes you feel good. Unless they're rude in some way. That's not good. I might do the opposite effect, but yeah, there's this feeling of when you tell somebody something good, that they weren't expecting, it just kind of brightens their day. So it's like that, doing things out of the ordinary, doing something differently, the way that you're healing here. And not, I don't think you're focusing on anyone else. I think you're just focused on yourself and where you are and getting your mind space right, and gradually opening your heart up in other ways. Okay. Anniversary is here. So, birthday, holiday, and important day. So, you may have an important day here that's coming up. Somewhere, you may actually see that red that's hitting that. That's the light, guys. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? You may actually, it's reminding me of the Ace of Wands, and underneath this it says disappear, but it's in reverse. And so I was thinking maybe you may disappear for a little while, like go off the radar in a way, kind of, I don't know, do something adventurous or different, or something different. There's something different or unique about what you're headed towards, or where you're going in a way. And I feel like this is really important because I think what's going to happen is it's going to lead you to a whole new experience. You're going down a new road. Like, there's an ace here, and you saw that Ace of Pentacles. This is like Spirit protecting you in the situation, leading you to a different direction that will be exciting. That's going to be you're going to have a blast. You have the little rainbow now that's there. I don't know if y'all can see that, but you're going to have a blast. This is going to be like a whole new kind of experience for you. It's like your birthday cake, right? It's an important day. But you may isolate yourself from your past self. I feel like you've achieved where you want to be within yourself, and I think that you just feel really good about that. I feel like you feel really confident too. I think you'll be surprised because even before this is here, it's like you've never had the type of confidence that you're gonna have, and it's more authentic and true to who you are. This whole experience here, what it's doing to you, it's kind of shedding away the layers that or things that happened, maybe perhaps, but it's not who you are, right? It's just what happened. It's shedding the emotions that you've been carrying along with that. And you're becoming more of authentic and true to who you are because you're not judging yourself in any way. I just feel like I feel really good about this moving forward. Let's see what Spirit has to say. We'll pull some of these too. Okay, I don't know where this reading's going to go. I'm probably going to do a whole nother pile too. And put this reading to the side, and maybe I'll post it. I don't know. I need to ask Joy. What advice do you have? Okay, right out. To whom am I comparing myself right now? Yeah, let's see. What you're able to see in another is only visible because it is within you. Ready to be, remember what I said about that person I saw? Yeah, I didn't think about that before, but I can imagine his sadness, and where he is in his grieving process. I can imagine that. At least I know what that feels like. Maybe not to that extent, but I've experienced a lot of loss, so I can identify with that feeling. Anyway, what you're able to see in another is only visible because it is within you, ready to be brought out. Shine light on this feeling of not enough and the truth, and see the truth. Oh, that's gonna look at that's gonna make me cry too. All that you need and want is within you. Today, stop comparing and start creating. Let's get another one. No, we'll do a postcard. How about that? Let's do a postcard from Spirit. Okay, let's see. What else? Your loved ones are safe. This may be something that you think about or you worry about a lot. This is the number 41, which is the number 5. But 4 is about a foundation, right? And that's where your home is, your security, your foundation, where you feel safe, right? Safe haven. And 1 is about a new beginning. Together you have 5, which is telling me that your foundation may be changing, moving forward. But it says your loved ones are safe. So that's something that you may need to know. Let go of your fear and worry for your loved ones. I am looking after them. So there you go. Let's get one more of these and then we'll do, well, let's let these shine for a minute. I like these cards too. And then we'll get a postcard from Spirit. What advice do you have? Clashing of opinions. Number 63. Ego is keeping you in a state of opposition. Set back, detach, and rise above any petty setbacks that arise. Yep. When someone does something out of ego, we want to react with our ego, right? In a way. So sometimes, and I'm figuring this out, I think the older I get, the more I just don't care. Is that what happens? Because that's awesome. Is that what peace is? Just not caring about anything anymore. Or not anything, but you know what I mean. Because I'm just going to tell y'all, because might as well. There was this person that did something really horrible to me. And like in a tangible way, like all kinds of ways, but they kind of stole from me in a way, right? Took from me, stole from me, whatever. I figured out that, like, basically kind of who this person's new victim I feel like is. I could be wrong, but like, do you want to guess? Like, if you have that kind of information, what do you do with it? I sat on that, thought about that for a while. What's the right or the wrong thing in that? And I would say to myself, if someone was to come along, because they did, and say something, and they did, and I didn't believe them anyways, so, maybe they won't. But I felt obligated to at least say something, because what does it do? It plants a seed in your head to where, yeah, if everything's great, then everything's great. But if there's red flags, you even have it's more of a red flag, because you already know to be on the lookout, looking for those things. So that's what I did. I just sent a warning, and just to let someone know that they just basically didn't know who they were dealing with. This girl's young, but she sent back a message. She was like trying to be sweet but cocky at the same time. And she was just doing what she felt like was the right thing, but I guess. But she called me like I was being petty. And this has been years and years in the making, right? This girl's just, and she has no idea who I am. But anyway, she called me being petty, and that I just needed to take my lesson and just leave it alone. And I was thinking, okay, well, I don't even care about any of that. Like, I guess it's because I know who I am, and God gives me my lessons. And nobody else knows what those are other than me. So it just didn't trigger me at all because I'm confident in that, right? Anyway, I just wrote her back and kind of gave her some, I guess, some kind of details about who this person is or what to at least look out for. And that I was only trying to just give her a heads up. And that was it. So I don't know if that helped in that situation or not. But there's somebody that keeps hurting people. You know, when somebody keeps hurting people and you find out that they've done it to you, you want to, what do you want to do? You want to protect the next person from getting hurt, you know, if you're a good person. It's only natural. And it's so crazy how that made it. You ever had a full circle moment in your life where you have this moment where you find yourself in a position perhaps that feels like deja vu, but you're experiencing it in a different way? Because that was that for me. Because I was in a relationship a while ago with someone, and initially his ex reached out to me. And you know, I'm going to say you this. Before, I used to think, when I was younger, oh, that's just their ex. They're not saying it. And this is why this is funny. Do you need in the closet, George? What are we doing over here? But I used to think, it's naive now I think about it, but I used to think, oh, every person that I was with, their ex was just crazy. She was just crazy. She was off her walker. You know, I would never act like that. You know, all this kind of stuff. And this last time that happened to me, this girl, and I'm older. You know, we're older now. She tried to warn me. She tried to tell me, she tried to warn me. I thought she was crazy. He had made her so plumb crazy. I thought she was just crazy, you know. And then guess what? I can see why she's crazy. I can see why she is who she is. And the funny thing is, the thing I remember her saying to me was, Holly, you don't want to be with him because he will turn you into somebody that you're not or you don't want to be. And I was like, now when I start to feel that in a relationship, it feels so not right. Like, it's just, I am very self-aware that feeling is there. And it just makes me want to just stop everything, you know. But anyway, so I guess I kind of did that myself to somebody. And it's probably going to, unfortunately, I think it may end in the same way. But, I mean, at least hopefully I planted some kind of helpful seed. Is there anything else before I wrap this up? Anything at all? Because I could just talk all day long. Anything at all? Anything at all? Anything at all? Concern, number 33. Tell me about that. Main female, 2. Who's that? Oh. Concern. Community. Who's this about? Hold on. I'm getting mixed messages here about who this is. What's going on here? If it's what I think it is. Hold on. What's concern? Who's this concern from? Boat. Yeah. Receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, and closure issues. This is somebody here that, you know, I feel like eventually at some point, this is someone that, like, this person I feel like is going to experience like closure issues through this because I feel like that there's things that eventually they're going to have to see, acknowledge, you know. Not today. They keep putting this off. Still angry. There is concern here, but I don't feel like it comes till later. Date is here. This is a reoccurring message here. Someone being afraid of losing you. There's also a fear here of how you're feeling. Where's my... Let me look at this real quick before I close. That wasn't out before. The Seven of Swords, but I wanted to put it on the table, didn't I? Huh. Seven of Swords in reverse. This is like, you know, the more and more you settle in your mind with what something is, the harder it is to get your mind out of what you've settled with. This is maybe what this person here, other person, could be worried about with main female in community. What is that about? Reevaluating. Resting, thinking. Yeah, Five of Pentacles. This person, I feel like, is worried about this. Is this a worry from this person about this? Yeah, the moon. The moon is about fear and anxieties. And the Chariot in reverse. Look, Carlos in the Chariot in reverse. This person's afraid of not having what they need. And with you, there's always that chance. Be careful of this. This is like somebody that keeps like a lifeline. Keeps you as a lifeline. Can you tell me about that? Yeah, that's all you need to say. Devil in reverse. Look at that. Page of Cups in reverse in the Tower. This is somebody that feels like or knows that if they were ever in a bind, the devil, if they were ever in a bind in some kind of way, you could help them get out of it. You're this person's like lifeline. All they have to do is kind of come to you in this energy, this Page of Cups in reverse, which is a very, like emotional, like basically like making you feel sorry for them or feel bad. Because of the Tower, whatever's going on with them. Be careful of that. Be careful of that. Bad combination. Bad combination. Okay, let's get a postcard from Spirit to close. Came out pretty quick, didn't it? It says, with love. Dearest you, did you know that when you stop fighting and accept everything exactly as it is right now, miracles start to happen? There's a freedom in that kind of radical acceptance. Let go of unrealistic expectations and see things for how they really are, not how you would like them to be. You'll be surprised at how everything seems to fall into place. Wow, huh? When you refuse to accept things, life gets messy. You act messy and your world stays in chaos, tension, and disarray. But don't try to force a change or manipulate circumstances. Instead, learn about what is in front of you and face it with your eyes fully open. Then you can decide, stay or go, sink or swim, move or stand still. Acceptance is the key to freedom. Opens the door to the real opportunities waiting to be discovered. Set yourself and others free. Loving you so much, always and forever. Wow. What a perfect postcard, huh? Okay, let's get some initials and charms. And then I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this reading. I feel like I should put it out for a pile too, but I also feel like it's pretty... It's different. It's different. It's a different type of reading. Anyway, we have focus on the good, I'll probably still put it out for you guys. I'm still going to do pile 2 this one. I mean, it is what it is, right? We are what we believe we are. Exactly. Purple could be significant. Purple is the color of the crown chakra. That's a good thing. That means that you are in a place to where you're starting to kind of balance out how you think, how you feel about the situation, as far as what your vision is of everything. And you're having more clear thoughts. So you have, yeah, important day. There's something here to celebrate that's coming up. There's something here that you're going to be celebrating. It could be an invitation to something. You also have the lime, which always makes me feel like a bittersweet, you know, like a bittersweet taste. And then you have, don't worry about things that you can't control. That's exactly this. And look, you have X right there. That's not a coincidence. So we have E, X, N, F, E, C, and another F. 2 N's and 2 F's. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you right here. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks for all your love and support and kindness. Of course, I hope this helps. Good luck to you guys, and I hope to see you soon.